On the news, federal government says worst of insecurity is over, assures that peace and security are returning across the nation. Lagos Planning Commissioner resigns as death toll from building collapse in Victoria Island area of the state rises. And APC Senator proposes bill to end same religion ticket for president, vice presidential candidates. Well, it's good to have you join us on News Now. I am Mary Kanu. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says the achievements of the federal government in tackling insecurity have been underreported by media practitioners in the country. The minister made this known on Monday in Abuja during a joint press conference on the nation's security situation. Others who jointly addressed journalists are the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, Minister of Interior, Rauf Farek Bashola, as well as Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyadi. While explaining that security forces are winning the fight against insecurity and terrorism, Lai Mohammed said the country may still witness isolated attacks on soft targets by the terrorists.
As far as daunting security challenges we face are concerned, we can tell you that the worst is over. And never again will terrorists and bandits and their cohorts hold sway in our country. As I said at a summit organized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in Abuja on August 23, 2022, President Muhammadu Buhari's directive to the military to crush those terrorizing our citizens is working. Hence, peace and security are gradually being restored to the country. Let me quote Mr. President himself on his directive to the military.
The federal government of Nigeria has remained committed to the peace support operation to maintain peace in the Republic of Guinea-Bissau and will continue to remain the beacon of peace and stability in West Africa sub-region.
Well, crushed building blocks, bent iron rods, excavating machines, and a gathering of onlookers, residents and officials of government have become the usual scenario in many of Nigerians' incidents of building collapses. The latest incident, which occurred at the Sandfield bus stop Obaidewo Niru in the Lekki area of Lagos Island, has led to the death of 6 persons. Speaking to journalists, the permanent secretary of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Femi Oke Osaintolu, said the agency responded to a distress call at the location in the early hours of Sunday. On his post, the coordinator, Lagos Territorial District National Emergency Management Agency, Ibrahim Farinloye, said the recovered bodies have been deposited at a morgue for autopsy.
It was reported to be around 2:20. But the KBAC, the Oniru of Iroland, just told me now that he got alerts around 2:45 of the incidents. I wouldn't say which exactly. You won't know which exact time it happens. We were not here. We only get information. So we don't have the exact time, but the time it was reported to have happened between 2:30 and 2:45. So after we received the distress alert, we had to mobilize resources. We got there within 1 hour of the commencement of search and rescue. 2 bodies were recovered. Until late yesterday, till 10 p.m., no additional bodies were recovered. So we had to relax in order to start fresh today. So from this morning till now, we've recovered additional 3 bodies, making a total of 5 bodies recovered. The operation ought to have been done on a floor basis, but we are unable to distinguish between each floors because most of the slabs we expected to be a solid substance turn out to be part of the rubbles. So that challenge, we could not work on floor by floor basis. This is the only challenge for responders that I know.
We activated the Lagos State Emergency Response Plan. All the key stakeholders that are important in managing emergency moved to the scene. And when we got to the scene, we discovered that the building under construction has been sealed by the relevant government agency, which is the Lagos State Building Controlling Agency. With the combined effort of all the key stakeholders, we use different methods, different techniques, different equipment to ensure that we move from the top to ground zero gradually.
Well, to speak more on this development, Omolola Adetona, former vice chairman of Nigerian Institute of Civil Engineers, joins me now. It's good to have you join me now. It's quite sad that we still record incidents of building collapse in Nigeria. So what would you say the problem is? Do we lack effective implementation of building policies, or is it a question of professionals involved in these building projects?
Good afternoon to you, and thank you for inviting me to this platform. It is really sad that building collapse seems to have come to stay in an environment, and it is really sad, especially for professionals in the built environment, to read this news more frequently than before on the collapse of our structures. Yeah, there are a lot of factors that we know is responsible. Yes, government policies. Government policies are supposed to ensure safety in our construction work. Safety at site, safety for all the workers, safety for even the structure that is being constructed. When a building collapses, the first culprit is the engineer. Everybody starts asking, who is the engineer on the project? Where are the professionals? What are they doing about it? We're equally sad and unhappy, but we all know that the building industry has been dominated by quacks, and more quacks are coming up every day. Members that are not registered with professional bodies are considered as quacks, because our professional bodies ensure continuous professional development of members to make sure that they are up to date and they are relevant with all the necessary codes and standards. Just a couple of weeks ago, the same Lagos State, we had an overhead tank collapsing into the neighboring compound. Why? Because the site supervisor excavated a septic tank close to the footing of an overhead tank. Who does there? There are stipulated setbacks that has been given in our codes, in our standardization. So it is really sad that this is happening. Loss of lives cannot be replaced no matter what we do. So having to lose lives when these buildings collapse is untenable. It's a very big punishment that should be awarded to those that are involved. The built environment, we have different categories of professionals in our built environment. We have the lawyers, we have the quantity surveyors, we have the architect. I said lawyer first because these days, lawyers get projects directly from clients. By the time they're processing the papers for approvals, a lawyer gets to say, I have a team to build your project for you. So the client gets confused or convinced and gives the job to a lawyer. The same thing happens to an architect because it's the first point of contact with the client. The quantity surveyors, all of us are now engineers handling construction on our site. So this mishap affects both all professionals and also the government policies. Just like you told me a few minutes ago, the site has been sealed. We have found out today on visit to the site that approval was given for 3 floors. And then the contractor or the client requested for 10 floors. They keep saying the foundation can carry it. The foundation can support it. So what the trend now is that they get a registered engineer to build the foundation, and then subsequent floors, they give it to quacks to continue because it comes out cheaper for them. This is not the way to go about it, because when the building gets higher, There are lots of consideration. Wind effect is part of it that has to be incorporated in the design. So just going higher without taking these factors of safety into consideration can only lead to disasters like this. So I know that we have government policies. I know that Lagos State Building Control Agencies have asked that for every milestone stage, there should be a certifying officer for the stages of completion of the works. And I know that they are abiding with this. The area where we think that we need to come in is that they need to involve more engineers. We need to have more stakeholder participation. We have Nigerian Society of Engineers. We have Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineers. We have a lot of divisions. We have the Council for the Regulation of Engineers in Nigeria, COREN. And I would like to emphasize here that COREN has an ERM team called the Engineering Regulation and Monitoring Team. They go around construction sites to ensure compliance to their specifications, compliance to standards and codes. But most of the sites, they don't allow them in. They chase them out of the site. We have one, the one for the Ikeja NSC branch has been to this site this morning. And from conversation, I learned that it really is a sad case. Yes, three people were reported dead, but in their presence, 2 additional bodies were brought out of this building, the building that had been sealed by the same government organization, Lagos State Building Control Agency. So there's more to be done from each and every one of us. We need to build up the built environment. We need to come together as a team and face building collapse as one body. Thank you.
Well, Omolola Adeto, now you've spoken quite a lot. The former Vice Chairman of Nigerian Institute of Civil Engineers, thank you very much for joining us on the news and for your contribution. And now to political matters, the lawmaker representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Smart Adeyemi, has proposed a bill to prevent same-faith ticket for president and vice presidential seats by any political party after the 2023 general elections. Adeyemi at a press briefing said the Muslim presidential ticket of the All Progressives Congress generated a lot of controversies in the country and necessitated the move. The Kogi lawmaker, who showed a copy of a draft to journalists on Sunday, explained that the Senate is seeking amendment to Section 84 of the 2022 Electoral Act.
For the purpose of unity, we must balance up our diversity to a large extent, and it is in view of this that I am making some proposals. I've had discussion with the leadership of the Senate, a cross-section of Nigerian senators, and quite a number of statements within our party and those who are not our party, as to how we can resolve and stop the fear of either Christian today or Muslim tomorrow about the nomination and election of candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, I propose, which I have told the leadership, that we amend Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022 by inserting a new subclause 13, that no political party shall nominate candidate of the same religion as presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate after this dispensation. Yes, after this dispensation. Because when an oversight is committed the first time, you don't allow it to occur the second time, so that it doesn't become a policy.
The senator further explained that the Muslim ticket was a necessary error by the ruling APC, but was quick to maintain that Nigerians should look at capacity in Tinubu and Shatima rather than their religious faith.
He's the person we have to look at and what people say about him. Is he committed? Is he a man who can turn things around? I think you can do that. Nigeria is a blessed nation. We want leaders who will utilize God-given resources for the socio-economic emancipation of Nigerians. That's what we want. We want a leader who will fight insurgency without sentiment. I'm speaking English now. Yes. We want a leader who will fight insurgency without any sentiment. Both Asiwaju and Shetima will fight insurgency and banditry without any sentiment. That's what you need as Nigerians. You don't allow anybody to deceive you. I believe in Nigeria. Asiwaju is good for Nigeria. Shetima is good for Nigeria. And I said this without any restriction. And I've said all the issue raised by CAN, I'm in support of it. There are some, to a large extent, some of them are real. We can't explain why some zones have not produced a service chief.
While still in politics, there are indications that the rift between the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iyorchia Ayu, may not end anytime soon. This comes as the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike on Monday said he will not leave his political foes for God to deal with them. The governor, who made this known while inaugurating the Osisioma flyover built in Aba by the Abia State Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, said persons trying to infiltrate his team to weaken the resolve fail to understand their modus operandi. The governor added that he will flog and crush those he described as the small boys. Wike further said Ayu should respect agreement and resign, or Nigerians will know who is relevant or not at the appropriate time. And electricity workers under the aegis of the National Union of Electricity Employers have called on the federal government to review the privatization of Nigeria's power sector, as it has added no value to the lives of the citizens. The workers, who made the call during a press briefing held on Monday in Lagos to intimate the public on the situation rocking the power sector, explained that the motive for the privatization failed to meet its mission, while lamenting the stigmatization of staff by the generation companies, Genco, and distribution companies, Discos, as well as the failure of the federal government to pay the entitlement of former staff of the defunct Power Holding Company of Nigeria. As agreed in December 2019, members of the union urged the government to act swiftly on their demands to avoid a total collapse of the sector.
Nigerians were deceived into believing that the investors had the financial and technical muscle to improve power generation and distribution to Nigerians. Can Nigerians be told today that this purpose has been achieved? The answer was echoed in the print and electronic media by members of the National Assembly, who even called for the total reversal of the entire process. The precarious work condition has imposed hardship on existing employees in the sector, as the generation companies have refused to sign conditions of service guiding employer-employee relations, while distribution companies use their boards to formulate policies to the detriment of workers.
And you can see from when the privatized now, the generation issue is not even doing well at our level where we are. Please, we want the press and the entire Nigerian to know that the union is not selfish. We are not working for ourselves. We are able to put things in place so that Nigeria will enjoy uninterrupted power supply.
The federal government, they are sincere, because we can see the handwriting on the one. They are trying to sponsor the hustlers to be calling us names. You understand? But we believe they should consider the authority to listen to the voice of the populace, so that they should do the needful. They know what we are asking for. They cannot put us on abject poverty and they are telling us we should not talk. It's not possible. You are killing somebody and you are now saying you should not cry. That's what we are waiting for now.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, Liz Truss becomes UK's third female Prime Minister after winning party votes. We'll bring you details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is the recap of some of our top stories tonight. The federal government is assured that peace and security are returning across Nigeria, adding that terrorists and bandits can run but cannot hide. Speaking further, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, explained that while the country may still witness isolated attacks on soft targets by terrorists, the security agencies have battled the insurgents and recorded massive victory against the terrorists. We also told you that the death toll from a collapsed 7-story building situated at Obaidowo, nearly the Victoria Island area of the state, has risen to 6. Speaking to journalists, the permanent secretary of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Femi Okeosanyitolu, said that the agency responded to a distress call at the location in the early hours of Sunday. On his part, the coordinator, Lagos Territorial District, the National Emergency Management Agency, Ibrahim Farinloye, said the recovered bodies have been deposited at the morgue for autopsy. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And now to COVID-19 stories and updates. China's drug regulators have approved the world's first inhalable COVID-19 vaccine made by Tianjin-based manufacturer CanSino Biologics, boosting the company's share price by 7% on Monday. The National Medical Products Administration of China granted CanSino approval for its inhaled vaccine to be used as a booster dose. The inhaled vaccine has similar ingredients to its injected vaccine, using a harmless adenovirus as a carrier for the genetic code that teaches the body how to fight COVID-19. And using artificial intelligence, researchers say a mobile phone app can detect COVID-19 in people's voices with potentially high precision. An AI model has been said to be 89% accurate and cheap to use, which means it could be adopted in low-income countries where PCR tests are more expensive. Scientists say results can be provided in less than a minute and are said to be significant improvement on the accuracy of lateral flow tests. Well, let's take a break now and return with business updates.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians have said in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Let's now join Abisola Adebayo for business updates. Abisola, what's the latest?
Thank you very much, Mary. Welcome to Business News. The federal government has suspended its proposed excise duty on telecommunication services. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, announced this on Monday during the inaugural meeting of the Presidential Committee on Excise Duty for the Digital Economy sector in Abuja. Giving reasons for the suspension, the minister explained that the telecommunications sector is already overwhelmed by excessive and multiple taxation. The federal government, through the Budget Office of the Federation, revealed that it will commence the implementation of its proposed excise duties on telecommunication services and beverages in 2023. Meanwhile, the OPEC Plus oil cartel has agreed to cut production for the first time in more than a year as it seeks to lift prices that have tumbled due to recession fears. The move could upset the United States as it has pressed the group to increase output in order to bring down energy prices that have fueled decade-high inflation. OPEC Plus, a 23-nation coalition led by Saudi Arabia and Russia, had agreed to huge cuts in output in 2020 when the COVID pandemic sent oil prices crashing, but it began to increase production modestly again last year as the market further improved. But we'll take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. The Nigerian Exchange Group opened the week on a negative note, shedding the massive gains that was recorded in the last 2 trading days of last week. Deep drops in some big stocks propelled the all-share index to unfortunately cross back to the 40,000 level today as the market recorded a 0.11% decline at the close of trading. On the list of stocks that contributed to the market's massive loss today, we have ABC Transnational and J-Paul Gold topping that list as they recorded a combined 6 kobo loss today. On the other hand, as our top gainers for today, Chimes and Flour topped the gainers counter as they recorded 1 naira 27 kobo gains, which obviously had no impact in the market. Well, it appears, anyways, our market summary rather, it says that the total volume of shares today is 200 million units of shares valued at 1.4 billion naira, exchanging hands in 3,976 deals. Well, it appears last week's positive rise towards the end of the week on the NGX was a dead cat bounce, but the week is still new, so we're optimistic of a bullish run before this week actually runs out. Anyway, stocks are deep in the red across Europe after Russia said its main gas supply pipeline to Europe would stay shut. However, UK's FTSE was unchanged on Monday as the Conservative Party announced Liz Truss as Britain's new Prime Minister as expected, while the British pound remained lower against the dollar. That's all on the stock market report. Back to you, Mary, for the rest of the news.
Many thanks for the update, Abisola. Now over now to the global scene. UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss has been named leader of the governing Conservative Party and next Prime Minister. This was announced on Monday by Graham Brady, returning officer of the 1922 Committee of Conservative Backbench MPs. Truss will become the Conservatives' 4th Prime Minister since the 2015 election and is also UK's 3rd female Prime Minister after Margaret Thatcher and Theresa May. In a short victory speech of the announcement in a central London convention hall, Truss promised to slash taxes and prioritize economic growth, adding that she said she would within a week come up with a plan to tackle rising energy bills and securing future fuel supplies.
That our beliefs resonate with the British people. Our beliefs in freedom, in the ability to control your own life, in low taxes, in personal responsibility. And I know that's why people voted for us in such numbers in 2019. And as your party leader, I intend to deliver what we promised those voters right across our great country. I will deliver on the energy crisis, dealing with people's energy bills, but also dealing with the long-term issues we have on energy supply. And I will make sure that we use all the fantastic talents of the Conservative Party, our brilliant members of Parliament and peers, our fantastic councillors, our MSs, our MSPs, all of our councillors and activists and members right across our country.
And now in sports, Nigerian sprinter Nzubechi Grace Nwokocha, who won gold in the 4x100 meters relay at this year's Commonwealth Games, has been provisionally suspended for the use of banned substances. The 21-year-old ran the anchor leg in Birmingham last month as Nigeria beat England and Jamaica to take gold. The Athletics Integrity Unit said it provisionally suspended the Nigerian runner for the presence and use of prohibited substances. That's it on news now at this time. Thank you for staying with us. I am Mary Kanu. Bye for now.